3 weeks into the unrest in Iran, over 600 people killed after the anti-government stir. Parallel pro-government rallies have been taking place. The Iranian government saying security forces are in full control of the protests across the country. This even as US President Donald Trump renews the warning of military action to the Islamic Republic.
Iran's streets are teeming with crowds. The support for the Islamic Republic is pouring in. Thousands of Iranians thronged Tehran's Engelbad Square in a powerful show of unity. People brandishing the Islamic Republic's flag. They are mourning and praying for the security forces killed during protests. Similar pro-government rallies are also underway in other cities after a call by President Masoud Pezeshkian. These are the images of Pezeshkian marching in the streets of Tehran as protests enters the third week. Parallel anti-government protests continues to spiral.
Iran is fighting the enemy in the economic war, in the cognitive and psychological war, in the military confrontation with America and the Zionist regime combined, and now a war against terrorists.
This comes at a time when the anger against the establishment continues to rise. Demonstrators illuminated Tehran square with phone flashlights. The angry protesters shouting anti-Khamenei slogans are calling for regime change. These are the images of bodies lined up in the streets outside a morgue in Tehran. Desperate families crying for help, pleading for the unrest to stop. Violence has peaked across the country. Protesters are on a rampage, vandalized a bank, multiple shops, later setting them on fire. In a CCTV footage that has emerged, individuals dressed in black can be seen vandalizing interior of Abu Zar Mosque in Tehran before setting it on fire. The Iranian government continues to crack down on its protesters amid internet blackout for nearly 5 days, but the fire refuses to douse. From London to Los Angeles, protests are spreading like wildfire. The chorus for a regime change in Iran is growing loud. The support for exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi is pouring in. He has challenged the Iranian government, called on Iranians to seize the city centers and prepare for his return. US President Donald Trump has repeated his warning of a strong military action against Iran.
There seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Experts say the possible next steps could include boosting anti-government sources online, deploying cyber weapons against the Iranian military and civilian sites, placing more sanctions on the regime as well as military strike. Iranian military is on high alert, its troops ready to respond. IRGC says it won't hesitate to launch a strike if it senses an attack is imminent. On target are American bases and Israeli locations. Beside the rhetoric, Tehran offers an olive branch to Washington.
Preemptive operations are not on our agenda. We do not seek war, but we are fully prepared for it, even more prepared than for the previous war. The reason is clear. The best way to prevent war is to be ready for it, so that our enemies do not once again fall into miscalculation.
Trump's administration's playbook often changes, but his threats still carry weight as Iran has long been on his agenda, and the unrest swells into the deepest and most widespread protests in years that the regime does not have under control. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
And earlier we spoke to Hafez Boutaleb, who is international relations analyst. Let's listen in.
The stance of the Iranian diaspora is critical to know how far is the regime is now unpopular, because many of these diaspora are still connected with relatives in Iran, and previously they were avoiding to expose themselves. And if now they are stepping forward, it means that the anger has reached unprecedented levels. But also it is important to see the popularity of the heir to the throne, Ali Reza, who claims now to be the person for the accurate person to lead the transition. And to check his affirmation, the behavior of the diaspora is critical.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.